Hey guys, it's Johanna, and this is my video for interviewing a digital immigrant. I interviewed my mom, who's 50 years old and struggles with technology, and I started by asking her a couple of questions that I personally wanted to know. And the first one was, how did you get in contact with people without, having a cell phone? So she said, usually called the house phone, but not everyone she knew had a house phone. So what did you do? You just went over their house, and if they were there, then they were there, and if they weren't there, then they weren't there. And for me, that's like it's a crazy concept because with my neighbors or my friends that live close, yeah, we'll stop by and unannounced or whatever. But some of her friends live blocks away, or it's like a 10 to 20 minute walk to get to their house, and they would just stop by. They weren't there, then they weren't there. I also want to know what it was like if, like if you made plans, a week ahead or something, and then all of a sudden on that day, something unexpected happened and you had to cancel. How do you cancel if you don't have a phone? And she said there was a couple times where, a neighbor would call you, or like the person would call from like a neighbor's house, or you even just got stood up for your plan if the person couldn't get in touch. So I found that really interesting, especially since now you could text or Facebook it or use just so many different devices to get a message sent across. Meanwhile, back in her time, you either walked to the person's house, like you told them face to face, or you had like the choice of one phone. Um, I also asked her what she thought of like the main differences with the interpersonal communication, and she said obviously people don't talk face to face that much anymore, and therefore you're lacking in expression and the emotion in the person's voice, and messages are more so like able to get miscommunicated easily rather than in her time where you just spoke face to face. You could tell everything, which made things a lot easier. With what role does choice play in today's mass media? She said something really interesting. Although we may not feel like we have a choice when it comes to technology, like, oh, you have to have this, you do. It's really the choice of, do you feel like being bombarded every day, 24 hours, with all this technology and people being able to get in touch with you even if you don't want them to? Or, do you not? You can have a phone and not have all the internet access and stuff like that. You can have a phone like me, one that still slides. It's not a smartphone, and that was actually a choice that my mom chose. It's one of the free phones, but she was like, I didn't want all that internet access. If she were to use it, it would be for her job anyway, and she doesn't like to take her job home with her. So to have all that stuff, to have email on the phone, is just too much. Texting is too much for her. When she's, in the car driving home and people are like trying to get in touch with her from her job, she freaks out. She's like, I'm off of work. I'm done. No, there's no reason. So that was actually interesting. Um, and another, well, the last question is I asked her, what impact did does all this technology have on us today? And she said, again, it's just bombarding. It's actually scary because there used to be a time where you can have you time in a place that can be considered safe haven, which usually was your house or something. But now at your house you have everything, because everything's usually on you. Your phone's on you, and within your phone you have TV, email, Facebook, and all that stuff, and people can just always talk to you, and sometimes you feel obligated to answer, that ring of the phone or the little chime of a text message. But um, it opposed to 15, 20 years ago, you had that you time. There's a lot more things you can get done. You had that safe haven. So I just thought those were a couple of the interesting points that she was able to bring out that I didn't really think of. That's my video. Bye.